Meet the Tonconogy family, the eyes, hands, and brains behind the award-winning Casa de Uco property in Mendoza, Argentina. The father, Alberto Tonconogy, is a renowned architect with a list of successful projects that are considered benchmarks in Argentina. The daughter, Julia, is an entrepreneur and interior designer with a passion for detail. And Juan, the son, whose love for winemaking drove him to envision this dream, become a hotelier, and run the property's daily operation.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure and honor to be able to introduce you to the Tonconogy family. I have been working with them for a few years, actually almost since the property opened, but I have never had the pleasure of having the family united to be able to share their story and for us to learn where it was all created. And so I'm thrilled to have with us Alberto Tonconogy. Alberto is a celebrated architect in Argentina, an array of incredible projects to his name, of incredibly recognized and celebrated design. So it's a pleasure to have Alberto. Alberto's daughter, Julia Tonconogy, who is also has a very creative mind. She comes from an interior decorating background and also of design. So she has today an amazing company that does custom tailor-made carpets being made in Nepal. And she was the critical part of this in beautiful interior design that Casa de Uco enjoys. And last but not least, Juan Tonconogy, who manages the property and also brought a very important element that I think is what people will remember just as much as the hotel, which being in Mendoza is obviously the wine, as well as the management. So I'm gonna start by asking a very important question, and I'm gonna start with the father figure. Alberto, can you share with us, where did Casa de Uco come from? Who started the idea? Who planted the seed of the Casa de Uco story?
When Juan was about 15 or 16 years old, he told me that when he will a man, he wants to be a winemaker. For me, it was impossible to imagine that decision. He studied economics, and when he finished his studies, the day after he started being trying to be a winemaker, because his thesis was exactly that, was being a winemaker, and he used that work for making his business. He studied for business, and his thesis was exactly that, being a winemaker.
So I have to think that you started drinking quite early. At 15, you decided to be a winemaker.
Or 16 years old, yes.
Okay, that's amazing.
Because, yes, I knew why, but was his words, and he decided to make that. And after some years of doing that job, I asked him what was his
goals.
His goals, yes. And he told me the idea of Casa de Uco. And I said, yes, I like that. And he looked for the land for 4 years, I think. And then he find our place. And the first time we went to the one of the first time we went there to knew the place, and one of the things we will have is a place, is a clubhouse to receive the person who is interested in the main business that was not only making wine, but selling small parcels of land to everyone have the opportunity to make his own wines. And for that people, we need for sure a place for stay. Because the first time we went there was to make a barbecue made by Juan. We were 3 in the mountains with nothing around us. And we feel that sensation was so important to want to belong to that place. We will need a place to stay, to recognize that a special place. That was the germ of starting a construction in that place. First was a clubhouse, and then that became at last a hotel.
Wow. And so it was from a young winemaker to a cook who made the barbecue to actually eventually finding a home where everybody that were potential buyers for these parcels to stay in. And so, Juan, tell us your version. So you had a very clear vision from a very young age of being an entrepreneur, clearly. When did you realize you were actually a hotelier?
A couple of years later, we started the project. Actually, as my father was saying, is kind of the complete story. But we started, the idea emerged since I started making wine because I was passionate about it. I found that it seemed really magical. The wine seemed something super magical. You have different types of wine, styles, varieties, and it all comes from the earth. That's how I started into wine as a passion. I thought there must be a lot of people like with dreams like me, and that's how the Casa de Uco idea started, mainly to fulfill the dreams of people to be in a vineyard, enjoy the lifestyle of the mountain. And then the hotel came with this idea of providing services to the people and personalization and really feel in touch with nature. After, as it is a small hotel, 16 rooms and 3 villas, the figure of the owner had to be present because it's not a really big hotel where you lack of personalization and you can have a super general manager. So everybody was hands-on, being in touch with the operations, with the people, and seeing the guests really enjoy the place made me feel much more in contact with the property, with being able to go abroad and communicate this experience, communicate Mendoza, communicate Uco Valley and Argentina. So I think it was year by year, and it's been almost 6 years that we've been open. Actually, 6 years.
Wow. And one of the things, that I think it's incredible. I went to hotel school and wine class. We would study not by reading many books. So we would joke that the best class to study for was winemaking, because the best way to get to know wine is to drink wine. So that was our theory then. Obviously, it doesn't result in becoming a very proficient winemaker. But one of the things that I was very impressed with, when you are very present on the property and you are very involved in the process, but also on the experience and showing the earth and how, as you said, it all comes from the earth, and how the different components in the ground reflect on the taste and the, and the flavors and so forth, the composition. So I think you offer an amazing experience from the technical side all the way to the final experience. Because if you ask my daughter, who's now 12, but she's been twice to Casa de Uco, it's still one of her favorite places in the world. So you would think, how is that possible? But it's because of the experience, and very much so, I think, the warmth of the design. So Julia, I would love to hear from you. No, go ahead.
Julia, I have a photo of Sasha drinking what will soon be wine, and she was drinking the grape juice before fermenting. So that's what we like, people getting contact with the place. And I didn't ferment it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was almost, it was that
Almost.
kind of, it's a perfect way to get a child to try it and say they don't like it. And so, I have no problem with her, becoming an alcoholic, but definitely it matures her palate. So, but it's true. She learned how to select the grapes, and then she did the stamping of the grapes. And she was so proud to come home and tell my father that if he would like, she could make him some wine. She just has to go to Casa de Uco because her production is there. So it's an amazing story. So Julia, tell us a little bit about your vision for the design. I spoke earlier to your father, and he said that very often you have a different taste. You use materials that he wouldn't choose himself, but he trusts in the fact that and that he trusts that it will work. So how was that relationship and working with your father and creating what you've done, which is amazing?
Well, first of all, the main concept of the interior project was to not to interfere with nature and the project, like the project itself, like the architecture of the hotel. The interior design had to accompany like the colors of the environment, outdoors, the landscape, the mountain as the backdrop, and as well as the materials. Like one of the a must was to use like noble materials like wood or stone and sometimes leather, although my brother doesn't like to use so we try to also like the colors are usually earth tones or colors that have to do with nature itself, and it was very, very challenging. The project itself, while it was in construction, was in the middle of nowhere. We made everything, almost like 90% of the things we made in Buenos Aires, like throughout like a period of 2 years. And when the hotel was done, was finished, it was very, very exciting. It was incredible to see this humongous trucks coming from Buenos Aires with all the interiors in it, from the chairs, tables, wardrobes, the sheets and the beds and the amenities and everything, started to come from Buenos Aires. So every time a truck came, like you saw the roads, in the middle of nowhere, as it is Casa de Uco, and you saw the truck coming, like, yay, hello! It was like, that the TV is like, oh, there's comes the plane. Okay, so the truck, were coming in, and it was super exciting, and it was a really nice process, from the concept and design and the eternal meetings and design meetings in the office in Buenos Aires. Sometimes we agreed, sometimes we didn't, but at the end I think the outcome was really good.
It's phenomenal. I had the honor of opening a few hotels in my career, but one special, which was the Ritz-Carlton Battery Park, and it was right after 9/11. Until today, I have a special connection with the building because I feel that some brick there belongs to me, because I opened it. And I imagine that the accomplishment, the sense of bonding that it has created between, even though you already are family, having had a child together,
and then we have little experiences like here and there. For example, when the stone wall was being built, my father was standing in front of the wall, like I don't know, 10 feet apart from the like 3-story tall stone wall.
Beautiful wall, actually.
And he was directing, the guy, the people that were working on it, like using each one of those stones. And then at the same time, we were, like trying to see what, color of the leather we're going to use, or the fabric, or the color of the woods in the chairs that were, to see the contrast, or how they match the colors of this stone wall. And, and so that's how the interior and the architecture, were
together.
They're blended. Yeah.
They're blended.
Blended, yeah.
Yeah.
You can feel that when you go. It's like,
for
very
sure.
Relaxing, and it's not, it's, I don't know, like we have blue chairs that, they could seem striking color, but it's not. It doesn't contrast with the outer
Environment.
with
No,
the,
because you have a lot of glass. So you bring the Uco Valley into the living room. You bring the Uco Valley into it. And then the colors, there's harmony between the outdoors and the indoors. And yet
yes,
it's beautifully
yeah,
done. It's beautifully done.
and
Remember, Julia, when
yeah.
the first night we
No,
put everything in his place,
yeah.
and when every time you move to somewhere that you made is a very special night every
Yeah.
time, and that moment, most of our family that was involved in this project was there, putting the things in their places.
The places,
And
yeah.
yes, and everyone feels something similar. That was a very different place for all of us, different for everything because was a place so different that makes it a different building. The same to me, but all of us feel that we were in that place before, but something we remember some of our houses that resemble knowing, not exactly knowing why, but was something related to our family, the result of that place.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, there's a piece of there's a piece of all of you there, no? A piece of your history and a piece of your stories and a piece of your home, and that's very much felt. And I think the name is so perfect because it's Casa de Uco. It's truly a home. It's a family home in Uco, you know, in the Uco Valley.
And
Good job, like amazing.
And also some of the objects that are mostly in the second floor, where the bar and lounges and the library and where's the pool, the playroom is.
The pool table.
Like most of the objects belong to different homes, you know, from the family heritage in different places. So yeah, they reunited there in Casa de Uco. And so, you know, nobody knows about it, but some of them, they, you know, are in the family have been in the family for like 50 years or 60 sometimes, you know. So
well, now
Actually,
it's no longer a secret.
There's
Yeah.
Julia and Papa, we have a dictionary, Larousse, and last week, we are open now just for Mendoza province. And last week came a guest and she saw in this Larousse dictionary that his grandfather was there and he was a historian.
yeah, historian.
Yeah.
And he asked us if she could buy the dictionary because in the new dictionaries he's not anymore. And I told him, no, this is a family book. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No,
The dictionary is in the hotel because my father, every place he were, there was a dictionary. In that direction was followed by all their sons. In their home or in the hotel, there's
always
that
a
dictionary, that one, the Larousse.
no, that's amazing. I think that what you've built, and you couldn't have imagined how in creating this truly customized, unique, you know, family owned, family run gem, because it cannot be, even if you all got together and went to build a second one, it would never have that same energy that you created at that time. I mean, and the stories that you created during the construction and that you brought from before. And I think it's so unique. And one of the things I think is very beautiful is that as a consequence of what we're living today in this pandemic, if you talk about family owned, if you talk about small, which is what Casa de Uco is, you talk about an intimate experience, which is what Casa de Uco is, it's known today in the mind of our consumers as the safest place to be. It's the place to go. It's where you feel the most taken care of. It's like being at home, right? Where's the safest place? At home. And when you travel, you want something that takes you away but yet gives you that same safety. And I think Casa de Uco is exactly what people are looking for. We're just waiting for the borders to reopen so that we can all flood back to the experience and enjoy Casa de Uco, the Juan's barbecue, you know, Alberto's architecture, and your amazing interior design. So I wanted to thank you for sharing your story, for sharing your insight. And if anybody has a chance to go when Alberto's there, he's one of the most charming storytellers you will ever meet. So it is a bonus if you can plan your trip when he's there, because it is a gift. It's an experience that's priceless. And I'm sure it's the same with Julia, and I've been there, and I'm very good friends with Juan, so that's why. But Juan, your dad is a special man. So
Thank you.
that's. Thank you so much for joining us, and please make some time to go to Argentina, to go to Mendoza, and to spend some time at Casa de Uco. It's definitely worth it.
Thank you.
Tina, it was a real pleasure, and enjoy everybody the fest. So
The fest.
we are open here with our big hands, waiting for everybody and to enjoy the Uco Valley, Mendoza, the wines, the food, everything. So
Energy.
salud.
The energy, for sure.
Energy. It's incredible.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Ciao,
you.
Tina.